The Last of Us Season 2 kicked off with a slow-burning but emotional premiere, reintroducing fans to Ellie, Joel, and the now thriving community of Jackson. But underneath the surface of that newfound peace are secrets, pain, and the bubbling tensions that are bound to explode. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Two major storylines immediately grab attention. Ellie cutting a fresh bite wound, and the intense introduction of Abby, a new character who's hell-bent on killing Joel. These moments aren't just there for shock value. They're deeply tied to the core themes of the story: trauma, revenge, and identity. Let's unpack why Ellie harms herself to hide the truth, and why Abby is hunting Joel with such rage, and whether she'll really follow through with it. Ellie gets bit again, but it's what she does after that matters. Early in the episode, we follow Ellie and her new partner Dina on a routine patrol beyond the walls of Jackson. It's clear this is more than just another mission. It's also about the bond forming between the two. But when they stumble into an abandoned building, breaking patrol protocol, the danger becomes very real. Ellie gets separated from Dina after falling through the floor and comes face to face with a stalker, one of the more advanced and dangerous forms of the infected. The fight is intense, chaotic, and close. Ellie eventually wins, but not without getting bit in the process. Now, for most people in this world, that's a death sentence. But Ellie is different. She's immune. She was bitten once before, years ago, and never turned. That unique fact makes her one of the most valuable people alive, but also one of the most vulnerable. When she gets back to safety, Ellie doesn't tell anyone what happened. Instead, she takes a knife and slices into the fresh bite. Why? To disguise it. She doesn't want anyone, not even Dina, to know she was bitten. And that's not just because she doesn't want to be treated differently. It's about survival.
Just her?
Why Ellie hides her immunity. Still, even 5 years after the events of Season 1, Ellie still hides the truth about her immunity. She's branded her arm with a tattoo to cover the scar from her original bite. Her life in Jackson seems relatively peaceful, but the risk of people finding out who she really is never went away. Back in Season 1, we saw what the Fireflies were willing to do once they realized Ellie might be the key to a cure. They were going to kill her to extract it. If Joel hadn't intervened, Ellie would have died on an operating table, her value reduced to a medical experiment. That memory is still fresh. It's why she doesn't trust anyone to know the truth, not even in Jackson, where life is safer and more civilized. The world may have rebuilt in small pockets, but human nature hasn't changed. The moment someone sees Ellie as a cure instead of a person, she loses her agency and possibly her life. By cutting into her bite, she changes the narrative. Anyone who sees the wound will assume it was just another injury in a brutal world. Nothing more. It's a small but powerful act of control in a world that constantly tries to take it from her. Jackson isn't paradise. It just looks like it. The commune founded by Tommy and Maria feels like a utopia compared to the rest of the world. There's electricity, food, warmth, and even moments of joy. But that illusion of safety is fragile. Season 2 makes it clear that not everything in Jackson is as perfect as it seems. There's distrust, politics, and old biases that still exist among its people. And if the wrong person learns about Ellie's bite or her immunity, they might see her as a threat or an opportunity. Ellie knows this. That's why she doesn't say a word. She learned from what happened with the Fireflies. In her mind, no one, not even a functioning community, can be fully trusted with the truth.
We're finding him. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
The other side of vengeance. Enter Abby. While Ellie is hiding one truth, another character enters the scene driven by her own truth. Abby. She's introduced with a simple mission: find Joel, kill him, slowly, make him suffer. We've never met her before, but her pain is already palpable. She doesn't just want Joel dead, she wants revenge. Her friends are unsure. They talk about moving on, joining a new group in Seattle, but not Abby. She can't move on until she gets justice. It's only later that we learn why.
But we didn't save anyone.
Joel killed Abby's father. To understand Abby, you have to go back to the end of Season 1. When Joel got Ellie to the Fireflies, they confirmed that her immunity was real and that they could use it to make a vaccine. But there was one massive catch. The procedure would kill her. Joel, who had lost his own daughter years earlier, wasn't going to let that happen. He chose Ellie's life over the potential cure for humanity, and in doing so, he killed every Firefly who stood in his way, including the surgeon who was going to perform the operation. That surgeon's name? Jerry Anderson, Abby's father. The TV series confirms what the game reveals in flashbacks. Abby was at the hospital that day. She didn't see Joel kill her father, but she got there just moments after, only to find him lying dead in the operating room. That moment broke her. Everything she believed in was shattered. Her grief turned into anger, and that anger became obsession. While her friends tried to move on, Abby trained. She tracked the leads. She found Joel's name. She heard about Jackson. She prepared for this moment for 5 years. To her, this isn't just vengeance, it's justice.
Confusion about that.
50s, graying, beard, 6 foot tall, scar on his right temple. Oh.
Was Abby in season 1? Abby wasn't shown on screen during season 1, though some fans speculated that she appeared briefly in the background. What we know from the game is that she was nearby during the events at St. Mary's Hospital. She and her dad had just helped a zebra stuck in a fence. Yes, the same escaped zoo animals seen during Joel and Ellie's journey. That contrast between innocence and horror only deepens the tragedy. When Jerry was called back to the hospital to perform the surgery, Abby stayed behind. By the time she got there, it was too late. In season 2, we're expecting flashbacks that will give us her full perspective, what she saw, how it affected her, and why her rage became so all-consuming.
Felt like you heard of us or something.
Because they have.
Does Abby actually kill Joel? Yes. In the game, and very likely in the show, Abby fulfills her mission. She doesn't just kill Joel, she tortures him. After locating Joel and luring him to a remote chalet under the guise of safety, Abby shoots him in the leg with a shotgun. But she doesn't want him to bleed out. She wants him to feel everything. She even orders her friend Mel, who's a trained medic, to tourniquet the wound. Then she takes a golf club and beats him to death. It's brutal, shocking, and deeply personal. Abby trained for this moment for years, thinking it would bring her peace. But the truth is, it doesn't. Once Joel's gone, she's left with emptiness. The satisfaction she expected never comes. Revenge doesn't fix grief, it just creates more of it.
Please stop! Please don't shoot!
Will Abby kill Joel in the TV series, like in the game? In The Last of Us, Part 2, Abby's brutal execution of Joel is one of the most shocking moments in video game history. It was raw, emotionally devastating, and instantly divided the fan base. But now, with HBO's adaptation unfolding in Season 2, the burning question is, will the show follow the exact same path, or will it deviate? The source material is clear, Abby kills Joel, but a television series has more room for nuance, pacing adjustments, and even structural changes. While it's likely the what remains the same, the how, when, and why might shift. Let's explore some theories and possibilities. Theory 1. HBO sticks to the game. Abby kills Joel early in Season 2. This is the most straightforward theory, and so far, all signs point to it being likely. Just like in the game, Joel's death could happen in the early episodes of Season 2, potentially even as soon as Episode 2 or 3. Abby's motivations have already been set up in Episode 1. We see her mourning, her bitterness, her obsession. Joel's death, just like in the game, would serve as the catalyst that sets Ellie on her path of vengeance. It opens the door for a split-perspective narrative that HBO has hinted at using, showing the story from both Ellie's and Abby's points of view. The emotional payoff of this would be enormous. Joel is beloved, and his death would leave a gaping hole, forcing viewers to wrestle with grief and conflicting loyalties, just like players did. But that's if HBO wants to play it safe. Theory 2, a slow burn. Joel's death happens later. Unlike the game, the show has the benefit of hindsight and fan reaction. The immediate backlash to Joel's death in The Last of Us Part 2 was loud. Some fans felt blindsided. Others were so emotionally tied to Joel that his early exit turned them off completely. HBO might choose to delay Joel's death to build the tension. Instead of dying early in the season, he might live through several episodes, maybe even half the season, allowing us to see more of his relationship with Ellie post-Season 1. This would deepen the emotional connection between Joel and the audience, make his eventual death even more devastating, allow more exploration of Joel's guilt, Ellie's resentment, and the fragile trust between between them. It would also give Abby's motivations more screen time to develop organically, making her character less the villain and more of a sympathetic foil. Theory 3. The scene plays out differently, but he still dies. There's also the possibility that Joel still dies, but not in the same way. In the game, Abby uses a golf club in a grotesque personal act of vengeance, but the show might tone down the brutality or change the weapon entirely. Why? A golf club death is iconic in the game, but could feel unnecessarily over the top or trolling in the show. Changing it could create fresh shock for viewers, even those who played the game. It allows the showrunners to reframe the scene in a more cinematic, perhaps more morally ambiguous way. For instance, Abby might kill Joel in the middle of a fight. It could feel more like self-defense gone too far, or a moment of madness rather than a slow execution. This would generate deeper discussions about justice versus revenge. Theory 4. Joel lives, a complete subversion. Now let's talk about the boldest possibility. What if Joel doesn't die at all? It sounds wild, but it's worth considering. HBO's adaptation has already taken creative liberties, and with Neil Druckmann heavily involved in the show, he might use this opportunity to tell a different version of the story, one that surprises even diehard fans. Reasons why this could happen: a chance to explore what if narratives and alternate outcomes, avoiding repeating the exact same emotional beats from the game, giving Joel a redemption arc. Maybe he sacrifices himself for Ellie later in a different context, pushing Abby and Ellie into conflict through a different inciting event. Of course, if Joel lives, the entire trajectory of The Last of Us Part 2 changes. Ellie's mission of revenge would either not happen or happen for different reasons. And Abby's arc would need a new trigger point. It's a long shot, but a narratively bold one that could set the show apart and generate massive conversation.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
Final prediction. Yes, Joel will die, but with a twist. In all likelihood, HBO will follow the major story beats of the game, but tweak them for pacing, emotional impact, and audience reception. That means Joel will die, but not necessarily exactly how or when he did in the game. The result will be a more balanced, emotionally layered telling of the same story, one that acknowledges fan reactions while staying true to the soul of The Last of Us. Our nerdy thoughts. Season 2 of The Last of Us wastes no time diving deep into its themes of trauma, grief, and revenge. Ellie's decision to cut into her bite is more than survival. It's a symbol of the secret she's still forced to carry. And Abby's arrival marks the start of a violent reckoning that will leave no one unchanged. Joel's actions in Season 1 had consequences, ones that are coming back full force. And now the story isn't about saving the world. It's about what's left of the people who tried. If you enjoyed this deep dive into The Last of Us Season 2, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more breakdowns, character theories, and episode analyses every week. Let's see where this brutal, beautiful journey takes us next.
We kill him slowly.